Brilliant news, everybody. Okay? 4-step plan to making infinite money. Let's go. Step 1, you get yourself access to an IP with global wide appeal. Step number 2, release a successful, well-developed game with wide appeal and wide availability. Step 3, and this is the key, so listen up. You've got to fill it full of gacha mechanics so that you make $100 million in under 2 weeks. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then, step 4. This is when you add in play-to-earn cryptocurrency mechanics. Of course, so that you can train that wide and young audience to work instead of play. Do that, and you will be calamitously wealthy.
Yeah. Now, I wish we could present this as our plan, as our idea, as something that we're, not actually in the middle of doing, no, but would, could theoretically do. And maybe we could patent this plan and no one else could use it. But unfortunately, we've been beaten to the punch. This is what the No Kuni developers are doing, which is, if you're not familiar, a fairly large IP in Japan, and it's Studio Ghibli and Level 5 working together on this beautiful child-friendly property.
Yeah. Hayao Miyazaki. Play-to-earn cryptocurrencies.
Match
Put
made in
these
heaven.
things together. Perfect.
Yeah. No, this is something, because obviously No Kuni Cross Worlds is a mobile MMORPG that's just hit global release the other day. I think earlier, don't know when this video goes out, but earlier this week, and to generally great success because it pumped really hard in Japan and South Korea, making 100 million in 11 days, outperforming Honor of Kings in that period because it's a really big, really child-friendly IP. People obviously mean Studio Ghibli. People love that stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely. The Ni no Kuni games are not super stellar, but as far as RPGs go, fantastic level 5 RPGs, wonderful, hundreds of hours of content. They're fantastic, and now Netmarble are just coming in and going, let's be cynical bastards and ruin this. Awful nice of them. Awful nice of them.
Yeah, and I think you can tell why it's good.
Yeah.
Right? The Ghibli-ish art. You just looking at it, it's fucking appealing.
It's beautiful. Yeah,
that's the thing. I look at this and I'm like, oh, I would really like this. But our first taste of where this all goes really quite south is actually from their press release, where they're talking about the Ghibli-ish art so that gamers of all ages, etc. can enjoy it. But here's where it gets a bit more iffy. Ni no Kuni Cross Worlds users will be able to acquire in-game currencies by hunting in a particular field or dungeon and exchanging them for individual game tokens and MBX. The press release then says, how will blockchain technology be linked to various contents of Ni no Kuni Cross Worlds? We are very curious. Oh, wow. Us too.
Yeah, absolutely.
From their website. Employs a gameplay-based blockchain system, giving players who enjoy the game the opportunity to play to earn tokens through gameplay. Players can acquire 2 types of tokens in the blockchain system, and our team will do the best they can to preserve the token values.
Of course, none of this is anywhere mentioned on the App Store page if you go to download the global release today, like I did, to just have a look. None of that's mentioned, none of the blockchain stuff, because it's not implemented. It's just planned to be implemented, and they have a plan, and they have the content there to implement it with. They just haven't actually pulled the trigger, so they haven't bothered to tell anyone who's going to play the game and, maybe sink a little bit of money into the gacha for familiars or equipment, or, get invested in the game or its world, or the great MMORPG that it promises to be. Like, yeah, we'll just not tell you about it at all, whatsoever.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, most crypto advocates will talk about how it's great because things are, decentralized and all of that, right? So there's full transparency, etc. But the funny thing, as pointed out by this Reddit user, is that actually it's a proprietary blockchain with a closed ecosystem. The ledger and consensus mechanism is not decentralized publicly, and essentially everything is still owned by the company, and the company called the shots on anything and everything. So it's really just the tech being used as it's like the technological way to implement the system they want for play to earn. That's all it is.
Absolutely.
So there's 2. You've got Territe and Asterite. One from PvE, one from PvP. So here it is. Earn Territe by hunting monsters in Chaos fields. You can earn more Territe by hunting monsters in higher level fields. The Territe energy available inside the Chaos field accumulates every day up to a week's worth. There is a very high chance of obtaining Territe until your accumulated Territe energy is fully exhausted. Oh no! However, could I get around this? The maximum amount of Territe energy accumulated daily increases according to your class guide, which increases according to your character level. So, it is quite a literal, hey gamers, go work the fields.
Literally, yeah.
That's also funny. Now, Territe can also be earned by doing some dailies in-game. And then users can exchange Territe for Territe tokens!
Yay.
NKT! Alright, Territe into the token, into your Marblex wallet, and then just put that in the crypto exchange.
Money for playing the game. How perfect.
That's it. That's it.
Oh
just put into whatever meme coin you want. But of course, the great news is, everybody, that this implementation is getting deeper and thicker. Yes, because Q3 of this year, they're adding a staking system that will return a portion of the game's revenue back to the players as MBXL.
Fantastic.
So that is, again, more just doubling down on the whole work, everybody, get your stake in this. A bit like that one that's popping off now where you buy sneaker NFTs and there's a whole thing going on. There's an Asteroid exclusive shop update and additional Kingdom content. And then for Q4, all server, additional content, power up content expansion, and of course, non-fungible tokens.
Fantastic. That's just what I want in my gacha mobile MMO RPG that probably shouldn't be playing because it's gacha. But also No Kuni, the great game that's never probably going to get an actual fully fledged console RPG release again because they're making more money doing this than with their two previous releases, NFTs and play to earn. Fantastic. Yeah. This is what people were afraid Square Enix would do.
Now, of course, you then look at, say, the Axie Infinity to USD chart and, that went down a bit.
But but there's a thing. That can't happen to this game because they're preserving the price. They promise to keep your investment completely sound, which does make you wonder, what's in it for them then?
Yeah. So with all these different systems, like it's all, it is quite literally its own little economy. Yeah. So will an Axie Infinity price, destruction, will that happen? I can't really say, to be honest. But what we can say is that this shit's ghastly. And I'm also very much in the belief that they're doing this in a gacha game for a reason, right? Whales are almost sort of celebrated in the gacha community for being the people who actually pay for the game to exist, which is a funny little thing, right? So your average, basically your median and average amount of user spend, I imagine looks very different in a gacha game, right? Where, the average is going to be pulled up by those whales, whereas the median will be a lot lower because those whales are subsidizing the vast majority of the player base. But the thing there is that that's all operating this like sort of almost deep cultural level, this super deep investment. So what is the next step there? Well, surely it's to earn the NFT, right? To buy the NFT. And then there could be a situation where it's like, look, you get the NFT, and then ownership of that NFT perhaps allows you to earn more Territe, right? Maybe it increases the Territe energy you've got. Maybe there's some other system. But then the point is, well, okay, you get the NFT. Now you're earning even more of this currency, which is like what the virtual sneakers thing is. It's like purchasing the axolotls in Axie Infinity. We are then trying to earn the other currency by using them. And then there ends up being a weird market, I believe, in the Philippines, wasn't it? Where there's just loads of Axie Infinity farmers. So that's what they want to do. The difference is that they're trying to apply it to gacha whales. And I think we can all agree that if there was one slice of gamer, because we can talk about the tech bros or maybe Seth Green who gets his Bored Ape and then his Bored Ape is stolen and now he can't put his Bored Ape in a TV show that he wanted to do or something. There's that, right? There's all the .eth people on Twitter, right? Yeah. But within the gaming sphere, your average gamer, I think, is probably looking at this and thinking, ugh, but a gacha whale, they already spend in some cases thousands in these games.
I mean, there is already, to be fair, it's for YouTube content, but there's already on YouTube, one of the first results for like looking for Cross Worlds is a YouTuber who put $1,000 in immediately into the global release just to get a big video of doing all the gacha rolls and seeing what comes out of them. And that's just $1,000 for, I mean, sure, expense for a video for like 24K views, sure, whatever, but like it's still like, yeah, that's what people are doing. That's how the game made 100 million in the first 11 days, and it's like a launch in Japan and South Korea. Sure, it's big there as opposed to, Ni no Kuni's not like a massive franchise in the West. It does better than you'd think, I think, based on sales. But it's not massive, but still, like...
And people clowning gacha games like FGO, just being like, oh yeah, you're spending all that money in fucking JPEGs.
Yeah.
But the thing with the NFT is, I know a lot of people say, oh, the NFT, that's just a link to a JPEG. Don't right-click it. But the NFT, the actual token itself, if that's on your account, other things can happen.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why people have been talking about, say, using blockchain tech for even theater tickets, or not theater, like concert tickets or something.
Yeah.
Right. Where you can maybe do a little bit more with it. So here, it's like you own the NFT. Perhaps, I imagine this is what they want to do. What does that NFT get you? Does that make the time you spend in the game more efficient? Does it increase your ability to play to earn? Because if they successfully do that, then the people who already spend thousands on gacha pools are going to see the NFT and be like, wow, I know I'm just buying waifu JPEGs, but, I kind of rationalize it to myself. And then they look at those and think, oh, that's real. That's real. I own a piece of this.
Yeah.
And look at all these benefits it's going to give me. It's big.
Especially when you look back to the game's design and how the play to earn works. Where you can earn more terite by hunting monsters in higher level chaos fields. Or in the case of the asteroid, you earn more for placing higher on PvP leaderboards and winning harder PvP fights at higher ranks. So you want a gacha roll for the top tier familiar. I don't know if gacha applies to equipment. I know it applies to the familiars, like the not party members or characters, but little familiars. You want to put a couple $100 in to increase your ability to earn more money if you're playing this game? Do you want to increase your investment in your future finances as opposed to just buy some gacha shit? It is very, very insidious, and I hope this bombs like shit.
Yep, absolutely. This is another stage in... You see, a lot of people, what they actually get from games is a sense of reliable progression based on the work they do. And often that's a situation where sometimes the real world just doesn't provide those dopamine hits. Yeah. And there's a lot of things we could talk about there, but we won't today. But that is why some of these, what me and Matt would generally call virtual work games, a lot of MMOs fall into this. Just those games where they're very grindy, and it is kind of like virtual work. This is the next stage of that. These companies have realized that virtual work games actually do really well. They're then thinking, okay, well, what if players think they can cash out? Now that virtual work is kind of transformed.
Really
I would then say you're going to completely demolish people's intrinsic motivation, and this could be extremely damaging to video games. I think it's also probably decently predatory and exploitative. I think that's almost certainly the case. And really, this is just a whole bunch, I think, for a lot of these games, it's fake economy. Like, I know it is its own little economy, but it's human effort that's not going to fucking anything. Because it's not like this is doubling down and creating a really unique, cool, fun, transformative experience that somebody, they're finished the game, like, wow, I'm so glad I experienced that. No, it's just, you spent 8 hours or whatever it is farming terite.
Just do your dailies, your dailies for money.
What is that putting into the world? The answer is fuck all. Yeah. It's basically capturing people so that they can play to earn a minuscule amount of money, all to line the pockets of the big company who just wants to trap people in this virtual work ecosystem. That's what's going on.
Absolutely.
So basically, I hope this absolutely fucking tanks. I don't think it will, though.
If it's going to tank, it'll take probably a while because it's a big property. People want to make money out of it. It's very unfortunate that they managed to get this nice Studio Ghibli dress up for it, because that is genuinely Ni no Kuni's genuinely beautiful world, genuinely beautiful series of games. And they've just went, that sounds like an opportunity for exploitation. Fantastic. Go fuck yourselves, Netmarble. Brutal, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, that's it from us. Go check out these other videos on the channel, and we'll see you next time.